Hey guys, Scare9 here, welcome back to my channel today, and the Dawning event has been out for about 2 weeks now. A lot of people are starting to wrap up their final patrols, their final missions, getting their sparrows fully unlocked, wrapping up their final triumphs and things like that. And as such, I think this would be a good time to sit down, examine the event, and see what Bungie did right with this event, and see what the community thinks could be improved upon for future events like Crimson Days that are coming up in the very near future, just to kind of give Bungie some constructive criticism so we can see a vast improvement over things in the future. Now, I will say I did personally enjoy the Dawning, but what we are going to do is structure this video a little bit differently. I'm trying to find out the best way to do these types of videos. So I'm going to be going over kind of a general overview of what you guys thought and what you could do in the event, and then I'm going to hop into my personal opinions at the end of the video, and we're just going to have a big overarching discussion and see what happens. So let's just go ahead and get into this. So I asked you guys on my community tab what you guys thought of the Dawning, and we had nearly 3,500 votes. Thank you for each and every one of you who voted. 34% of people said that they loved this year's Dawning, that it was very, very good, nearly perfect. Around 62% said it was okay, but they would have changed or added something, and amazingly, only 4% of people said they did not like this event at all. And I think that in itself is a huge feat for Bungie. If you would have gone back a year ago, the stats would have been very much flipped on this. And I think that these statistics here on screen show that Bungie has turned around the community's opinion of the game, and they are definitely doing things correctly, which is very, very exciting. So the main appeals to the Dawning event were a powerful reward drop per character per week. By doing Eva Levante's weekly milestone, you get the exclusive Slay Sparrow. That is very, very cool. That has some nice perks as well. You get an exclusive Dawning ship. You get some exclusive triumphs that you can only unlock during the duration of this event. And then finally, you can get the Avalanche machine gun, which to my understanding is also exclusive to this event. Now, these are the main appeals of this event. Of course, you did have to run around and like bake cookies and masterwork your oven by completing all of your recipes and things of that nature. But these were pretty much the main appeals. So let's go ahead and jump into what you guys thought, and then we can go ahead and discuss everything else. So the first one I have is from Benjamin. He said, it was okay, but I didn't love it. The exclusive weapon was pretty bad, and there was no exotic event quest like Thunderlord in the Festival of the Lost event. The one thing I did like, though, is the fact that Eva's weekly quests are easy and they reward powerful gear. And I completely agree with a lot of this. It would have been nice to see some type of returning exotic with this quest. Of course, the Thunderlord was essentially the previous season's version of like the last word. So like towards the end of the season, we're getting the last word, and that will lead into the season of the Drifter. So I don't think originally the Thunderlord was to be associated with the Festival of the Lost, but they kind of roped it in. But it definitely would have been nice to get some type of higher reward to grind for that wasn't just a ship or a sparrow, something a little bit that was kind of more enticing to us players. Because like he said, the Avalanche wasn't that good, especially due to the fact that it launched the same exact week as the Hammerhead machine gun got added into the game as well. And in my opinion, the Hammerhead's like 20 times easier to use and more effective anyways. So while it's cool that the Avalanche looks kind of funny and it's exclusive to this event, it's really just not that exciting in my opinion, unfortunately. However, I do appreciate the fact that we did get these additional powerful reward drops per week. That definitely helped me get up to 650, which was nice. Now, the next comment comes from Alan. I agree with most comments saying that we need something better to grind for. The Sparrow is subpar when you think about how the effects go away after the Dawning. And I had a ton of people point this out, and I've got to say that's probably the most disappointing part of the event to me. This Sparrow is probably my favorite Sparrow in the history of Destiny, and I think it's personally really silly that the perks disappear after the Dawning. They're not even that good. You get one glimmer, and you can't even use the boost on your Sparrow to boost left and right. It's not that great of a bonus. It's just something that's a little bit quirky, and it should be a permanent fixture on that Sparrow that you can show off to your friends in the future if they happen to miss the Dawning. Now you can flex on them because you have this freaking awesome Sparrow that is no longer attainable and has some of the craziest perks ever. And I just don't understand Bungie's logic of getting rid of these perks after the Dawning. That's not really cool anymore, in my opinion. I definitely agree with Alan that the perks should be active forever now that you've invested the time to earn the Sparrow. The next comment comes from Legacy Nova. I didn't play the first Dawning, but I do like this one. It is fun to earn the Sparrow, but half the perks you earn are not that great and only work during the Dawning. The only thing you get to keep is the fast spawn. Also, the easy powerful gear was fun to earn, and rewards you get for turning in gifts were cool, like cores or even an exotic if you are lucky. And the last part of this is what I really want to hit on. One thing I really enjoyed is how rewarding they made turning in gifts. You did get a ton of Masterwork cores from this, which is great for players who stopped playing in the previous seasons when Masterwork cores first launched. These are very, very cool because they help you upgrade your gear, especially since Infusion and Masterworking your armor now takes so much more than it used to. So it's definitely good to have a pretty good source of those. And then we already mentioned kind of all the other things in this comment, but the fact that they made the tradition of giving gifts implemented very well and then gave you good rewards for that, that is something that is very cool. And then the final thing that I saw a ton of people asking for was, of course, Sparrow Racing League. If you guys missed it, the very first Dawning event in Destiny 1 had this event that was like NASCAR, but you used your Sparrows to race around. I do just want to take a second so we can approach this situation a little bit more level-headedly. I know a lot of people get really mad because they expect it to be in there every year and it never is, and Bungie doesn't really address it. But just kind of think about how much development time the Sparrow Racing League must take. They have to design these crazy huge maps, and they have to do all the UI and record new voice lines and things like that. I get it, I really want it too, but if it comes down to us getting something like a new raid or Sparrow Racing League, I'm going to pick the raid every time. I know it's not the same teams that work on it, but that's just a basic comparison. If we get something like the Forges, like we get a 4th additional Forge or whatever the hell Niobe Labs is, or we get Sparrow Racing League, I would definitely want the permanent fixture to the game. But that being said, hopefully in the future they find a cool way to streamline the process. They give us some Sparrow Racing League maps, even if they're the same ones from Destiny 1, just kind of redone or skinned to look like the planets in Destiny 2. Honestly, I'd be fine with that. I think it would go a long way to appease the community. Everyone really wants Sparrow Racing League to return in some capacity, and even though it would take a lot of development and time and stuff like that, I think if Bungie marketed it just right and cut just the right corners, you know, maybe make 1 or 2 new ones, but bring back a couple of the old ones, if they did it just right, I think they could get away with putting in minimal work into it, but getting a great feedback from the community, which I think is very important, because at the end of the day, the main thing that matters is that we are enjoying this event and having fun, but we don't want that to be at the expense of the rest of the permanent game not having enough content. So I think that is very important. So at the end of the day, my thoughts for the Dawning were pretty much tied up by what you guys were thinking. I would give this event somewhere around a 7.5, maybe an 8. It was a lot of fun. I did enjoy the kind of creativity in terms of how you had to bake the cookies and give them to different people, and you had to figure out the recipes yourself. I really loved that aspect of it. I didn't look up a recipe sheet for most of it. I was just kind of guessing what would make sense and stuff, and that was a lot of fun for me personally. I definitely enjoyed how creative this event was. In my opinion, this was most certainly the most creative live event we have ever had to date. There might not have been as much to do as something like the Solstice of Heroes, but this one was super fun, super creative, and I definitely enjoyed it. I do think the Sparrow perks need to be permanent. Hopefully Bungie fixes that, but we'll have to see. I wish the Avalanche was as good as something like the Horror Story from Festival of the Lost, but what can you do? It's just a weapon. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter that much anyways, but it would have been nice to see some type of like God roll, curated roll that they gave us for completing the event or something like that. The exclusive ship is amazing. I, of course, love the grind for the triumphs. That's something I personally enjoy. And at the end of the day, it was a pretty fun event. So if you were not included in the video, let me know what you think about all of this down in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know why or why not down in the comment section below. One of the main reasons I love doing these types of videos is for the community interaction. And once again, the entire point of this is to give Bungie constructive criticism. So if enough people have an intelligent discussion and convey their feelings of something they feel like should be changed or added to the event, Bungie is much more likely to see that and take note of it for future years and future events. So just go down in the comments and leave me your thoughts, but be kind of nice about it. Let's have a discussion, not a shouting match. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like rating and to share it with your friends. If you're interested in watching either of the 2 videos on screen, you can click at their respective annotations to be taken to them. If you're brand new to my channel, make sure to hit the giant version of my logo on screen to be subscribed to my awesome Destiny 2 videos and live streams. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and I will see you in my next video.